best buddies, friends that comes to the store and teaches and just kind of lifts everybody up, and we have a lot of fun. So last night we had a wonderful trunk show, creative show, just conversation about the whole process of going from art to fabric, mixed media art, paper art to fabric. Let me just qualify that. So, of course, I have announcements.
Oh, Wendy Stewart from Melbourne.
Wendy's
Hey, good morning.
Awesome.
Good night, actually, for you.
Yeah. You have, you've been to Australia how many times? Teaching?
6, I think. Yeah.
I have never been asked to go with you.
Well, I'm going again next year.
Oh,
let's talk.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Wendy, thank you for coming and joining us. So, a couple announcements. I'll keep it short because I know we have lots of conversation to have with Seth.
Lots of banter.
Lots of banter. There we go. We are excited. We got a couple sold out for you. We're excited to have Finnabar come teach at our place. She will be here in October.
You don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes, yes. And we do have our teachers chosen for the Creative Mind Summit. We have a hold the date because you're going to want to come for that. It's April 24th through the 27th. And we have Keisha Devaney, Liliana Light, Julie Booth, maybe a little bit of me. It's going to be a great weekend. We have great teachers. We have high recommendations. You know 2 out of the 3 teachers.
2 out of the 3, and they're amazing. It's going to be an incredible weekend.
It is. I know.
I have to check my schedule.
Yeah, my schedule.
Yes,
yeah, I figured we might entice you.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So that'll be good. So those are the announcements for the moment. And of course, you know, Bernina is always here. But, you know, so if you need to talk about Bernina, just see me afterwards and we'll be happy to talk about that. So what brings you to Alexandria?
Well, you know, it's a coincidence that, you know, you have this amazing shop filled with mixed media and fabric. And I just happen to have a new collection of fabric that just came out from FreeSpirit Fabrics. It's called Live Out Loud, and like last year when I had my first collection with them, I've chosen to kick it off with you guys.
Yeah, and we greatly appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you so much. So I know you all know, if you're here, Judy and her crew at Artistic Artifacts, but if you don't know, you need to get here. It's an incredible store. It's really just outside of DC, to place it in terms of Virginia, if you're not familiar. And it's like a store like no other. She is the most expert curator, and this is not meant to be a commercial for Artistic Artifacts, but
we'll take it.
Yeah, but seriously, it's like a store like no other.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. That's our goal. We try to be very different and write our own story.
Yes.
That's why that fabric was fussy cut there. You know that word fussy cut, right?
I sure do.
Yeah, now you do.
Now I do.
Yeah, so thank you. We really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. We do try very hard to make ourselves different, and we have an awesome team here, which,
it's
you know,
a team of thousands.
It is. It is totally. People volunteer, customers will walk in. It's just the whole community is really pretty awesome. I feel very grateful that we've been able to create this. This is kind of my legacy. This is really important to me. So let's talk about you as the artist for the moment. Show us a couple pieces of your artwork that translated to fabric, and that, because this is your comfort zone, this is your genius.
Well, my comfort zone, we'll call it. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So mixed media, collage, paint, working on paper or board is where I come from. And apparently fabric is where I'm going to. So the process by which it starts, where it starts and where it ends up is just, to me, endlessly fascinating. So as an example of something that is pretty true to life, if you look at this piece here, this is exactly what I make. It's on a wood cradle panel. It's got lots of ink and paint and lisle layers. And how does that translate to fabric? Well, sometimes it translates almost perfectly without any changes at all. So you can see this is Summer Splash from the new Live Out Loud collection.
I love that fabric.
And I think it's Judy's
Yeah, I love
favorite.
it. It's my favorite.
And I love it too. And you can see that it's nearly identical. There's a little bit of a shift there. It's a little bit more contrast added and a little bit of change in scale. And that's done so that the collection can work really as a collection for quilters. And each of the different designs, there are 15, can work together. But generally speaking, that's what I made, and that's what it came out to be like.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Another example of that would be this piece hiding under here.
Yep.
This is something I created for the fabric collection, just on a piece of watercolor paper, and it's just ink, just spray ink. And what that translates
He
to,
says that so casually.
just spray ink. It translates to this. This is called interlace. And you can see, once again, it's identical, with the exception of a little shift in color and a change in scale. And scale and color, so important when it comes to any kind of art, and particularly with quilting.
Yeah.
Now, you could also go a different route with art, and let me show you a few things like that, where buried in here I have this piece, which again is just made on some watercolor sketchbook paper. That's my favorite part right there, all that torn edges.
I want to see the 200 pages that, didn't make the cut.
That didn't make the cut,
I would love to see those.
I don't even know if I have them anymore. So this was the original piece of art that I sent, and this was digitally manipulated color-wise to create 2 different patterns.
Yeah.
First off, we have this piece right here. And you can obviously see there's a little bit of a difference. And then if we scale this one next to it, you can see there was also a difference. And you might notice, eagle eyes out there, that the scale on these 2 are different as well. This one is called major chord. This one's called minor chord. And I just love the shift that allowed the colors to change enough so that they worked again with the other patterns in the collection. It's just so key. Even though I made this on its own, it was its own baby that was born that day. It needs to work with its siblings.
Yes.
And like we all have to adjust and change. So did this by the time it got to that.
And that's the job of the people that work with you at FreeSpirit, right?
Yeah, so the whole experience for me has been one huge collaboration, which, as anybody who knows me knows, that's really important. So I work with them to create the collection. We come up with the individual items that we're going to use from all the art that I make for it. And then ultimately it gets worked on by my folks at FreeSpirit, who do some magic digital manipulation. All of my work is analog. None of it has been digitized until it goes to create the collection. And the collection, the changes are the shifts in color, and sometimes just the hue. It might deepen, and so it works better with the other colors. The change in scale, size is really important when it comes to different aspects of this kind of art. And then also there might be some overlays that didn't exist in the original art. So a lot of my collection includes words. That's really important to me.
Yes.
And the words come from the rubber stamps that I design with other companies. And we choose the words, and then they're just digitally overlaid in the fabric. And then over time, back and forth, I like it, I don't like it, you don't like it. We love it. We end up with a collection. And this collection, again, is called Live Out Loud.
Live Out Loud.
Yeah.
I love the name.
Yeah.
I love the name.
And
it's now, I will tell you that this is all happening over a year and a half before we see the fabric. So then the next thing that happens is that we're all want to make samples and are clamoring for fabric. So by Annie, who Seth was interviewed like 2 weeks ago, I think, with there, which is a wonderful organization. They do vote for your favorite local quilt store, which we've ranked highly in. And she is on the list. I think she's got preferred fabric listing for everyone. We did get fabric, and we'll show you what we did with it in a minute. But let's look at some of this. The By Annie products are great bags. So they have instructions. She has videos. They have pockets which is a keyword. Pockets, purses with pockets is a keyword.
They have pockets inside, outside. Even when you think you've seen all the pockets,
yes,
there's actually more pockets. Check this one out. I particularly like this
that
one because of all the pockets. So this was not necessarily made for one particular use over another, but for me, this is such an art bag. It has the 2 slot pockets out here. Yeah. It has these inner pockets that expand on both sides. It has the outer pocket here in duplicate.
I wonder what that pattern's called.
It's got the handles. It's got this loops at the end, and it also, I believe, has a strap.
It could have a strap.
Yeah,
of course, that's the one pattern I don't have.
And then it has this secret zipper. So again, just when you think you've seen it all. So this could fit a good amount coming to a workshop. Yep. I love that. Yep. But they're all incredible. They really are. The detail is insane. Even
looking at the quilting, this is another. I love the yellow. This bag. We have a get out of town bag, travel essentials. This is the ultimate travel bag, I think. I thought this was a backpack. It is a backpack, but it's just so wonderful. And even their sample makers did some really great quilting on these. So
quite beautiful. And
that's wonderful also, too.
This is small but mighty. It has a magnetic closure, which is great, an invisible magnetic closure. It has the zipper pocket here. It has the zipper pocket here. It's using the fabric in really an interesting way. The inside is my design called Mantra, which has these really positive, uplifting phrases. And outside is Summer Splash. It has a little triple pocket inside. Yeah. And then again, you know, anywhere there's real estate, there's going to be a pocket.
And then this is, they put this here, Live Out Loud. I think this is the modernized fanny pack. This pattern. I'm sure that's not what they call it. Just the old me is
fanny packs.
Payday. Okay, Chris is putting names in. So Marta's putting the names in. Yes, she knows. Because we do have classes here for By Annie project bags or By Annie bags, and Marta, who is now our teacher that specializes in that, is on the live. So she's correcting all my my faux pas. So thank you, Marta.
We've had someone asking multiple times if they can buy the bags.
No, we have to send them back. We need to go back to By Annie because she loans them out. So sorry. We will give you the materials, or we will sell you the materials for you to make your own bag.
Correction. Yeah.
Correction. Yeah, sorry. But all right, so we got this, and this, one of the things we want to tell you is if you're in the area, we're leaving this set up for the weekend. So this part of the store is open for visitors if you would like to come and look. And I'm sure everybody will be, who's taking classes with Seth. Tomorrow is sold out. Today is almost sold out. We will wander around and be able to look at it. So this will stay in place until Sunday evening, which is really cool.
That's great. A lot of inspiration back here.
I know. Yeah. Now, I had tell a story about creating my own fluid paint because I want fluid paint and I couldn't find it. The products that you have commercialized, so to speak, or have available for sale, show us some of those that you have, and maybe do you have a similar, you know, that these were tools you were looking for, you couldn't find them, and so, you know, we just make it ourselves.
Well, let's come over here. Okay, follow me. So this little basket was put together by the Pete Sat Artistic Artifact, which includes some of the products that I've just recently released. And I do have to, again, shout out to you that this is one of the stores that's unique in the sense that it is heavy on fabric. I mean, heavy. It's heavy on machines, both long arms and sewing. Yep. And it's heavy on mixed media. So it's got everything. So these are my new stamps. These are stamps from Paper Artsy. It's a company I work with in France. And they include usually grungy elements, letters, numbers, words, phrases, and the like. And a lot of these are what end up in my quilts. Not my quilts, but your quilts.
Yeah, my quilts, yeah.
So, for example, if you just go up here, write your own story, which was in the original collection I released last year, that is also a stamp that's available that was overlaid. And if you look at these pieces right here, that was also a stamp. So they are created by me because I want them. you know. I mean, I'm selling them to you, but if I want a stamp that says a word, that's what I
That's the
get.
one you use.
So
Yeah.
that really works well. With the same company, Paper Artsy, I have a series of paints as well. These are special paints to me because they are the paints that I go to for everything, really. And they're called Fresco Finish Chalk Acrylics. The special part of these paints is that they're matte finished, and I love a matte finish, which means that if you use them in a book, and many of us are journal artists, you can immediately close the pages as soon as it dries to the touch, and the pages will never stick together. Plus, every I guarantee it.
Okay.
Every pen marker will work over it. You'll never ruin a pen over this paint.
Yes.
It dries very fast.
That
and it comes
makes it special.
Translucent or opaque or semi, which is nice because you do different things with the different paints. So I'm really fortunate to be able to have my own color line. And we all know I'm the mute guy. I'm sort of like matte and muted. So I get to make those matte and muted paints, which I love so much, with a pop of color every so often.
Yes.
With another company from France, Aladdin, I have a series of dye sprays, and the dye sprays are much different than the paints. Obviously, they're inks rather than paints. They're water-based, they're fast drying, and they are translucent, but they are not permanent. So this allows me to work in a way that the paint doesn't allow me to work, layering back and forth. And everything you see here, all of this, includes my paint colors and my ink colors. That's just how everything is created.
Everything works.
It's the base of it. And then last but not least, this year, after having it on my list for the last, 47 and a half years, I made my own washi tape. The washi tape is kind of an exclusive item in the sense that it's not in stores, except for one
Artistic
store.
Artifacts.
So this is the only store that carries it. And there are 5 designs. And if you are, again, tuned into the details, you will see, if I can find it here, you will see that this washi tape has a detail on it that is the same
as this one,
as this element right here.
Yep, and the other one.
And we have a second piece that's not included in this quilt that also has it. So for me, when I create a motif, when I create a color, I want to use it with everything. It's representing who I am in the moment as an artist. It's personal to me. It has some sort of meaning, and it helps me to be able to create these kinds of tools for me and also for you, so that then I can create these other things.
One of the things that you caught last night, what you were talking about, personal voice. And there was some questions about, where were you when you designed this fabric? Meaning, where were you in your creative space and everything? And I had this illusion of myself that I'd worked, 60 years to find my voice, and you just told me it was going to change. Oh, shit. Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh. Facebook people.
I know.
Don't put us in jail. Well, the way I look at art, right, is, or any kind of creative endeavor, it could be cooking, it could be gardening, anything creative, is that it's the individual who's doing it that's determining how it's going to be. It comes from us. If 50 people have the same ingredients, 50 people are going to make something that looks, feels, tastes just a little bit different. Yeah. And so it reflects who we are, and who we are changes over time. It does. So I think for an artist voice, that we all have a very distinct artist voice that is consistent no matter what we do. Oh, that works really hard to be consistent. Yes, right? It comes out whether you work in fiber, whether you work in paper, anything like that. You are who you are. But you're going to go through times where you change because of life circumstances, because of emotions. And I think that is reflected. So color choice may be different, or simplicity versus complexity, just depending upon where you are. But I do think it's okay to recognize that just because you feel like maybe my thing is bright colors, it's okay to throw in a dark color. Okay. Like that doesn't mean your voice, it's not you, it's not authentic. Right. It may just mean in that moment, that's what you need. That's what I needed. That's where you're at. Yeah. Kyle?
One question from the audience.
Sure. Hey, audience.
Does heat make your inks permanent?
I'm going to say no. Those inks, sadly, are never permanent. Now, when I developed those inks, I will tell you it was before I had a fabric line. So my focus was on paper, and hopefully most people don't take their artwork and put it through the washing machine. So they were not originally meant for fabrics. Now, for my mixed media use, I use them all the time in my fabric. So for example, some of the fabrics that are, they're not really black and white. If you look closely, there's actually some blues and grays and sepias in there. But I use my dye inks to dye fabric like that because I know I'm going to use it in a piece of art and it's never going to get wet.
Now, the washable thing for fabric, just to clarify, it really is an issue only if you're going to wash it. So a lot of times that comes into play for garments.
Right.
Many, of us do art quilts so that they're going to hang onto the wall. And so what we're trying to protect against in my experience is the person who goes up to artwork and throws water on it. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
But that is, part of that question, especially garments. People will do creative things with garments and always want to know.
Right.
But, you could do a test and let us know the answer. So we have done some tests. You could take the spray inks, put them on some fabric, let them, I would say things naturally cure when it comes to paint. So maybe it does. But that's part of I've never really quite been able to let inks do their thing because I want them to stop interacting with water, and so I just kind of have stayed away from them. But when in fact you shouldn't. There's really some amazing different looks and feels, and it's going to look different than paint.
And the beauty of a water soluble ink is that, let's say I did dye that while it was fresh and wet. If I just filled my hand with water and I went, I would get these gorgeous splatters and splashes that are pulled out,
organic,
and are very organic, and the blending that you get, which you can't always get with a
paint,
something that's permanent in the same way. But testing it is good. And one thing I will say, and I guess I'm on a live, so I'm going on record, and this will be on internet forever and a day, is that a lot of materials, supplies that are not permanent, over time they really do seem to become permanent. You can't guarantee it, you can't put it on the bottle.
No.
But the truth is that if you use the dye sprays, and I've had experiences where like a few months later, for whatever reason, I've gone back to a piece and I've reworked it, and the ink doesn't move.
Right. Yeah, there is something that does happen organically. Yep.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
And probably last.
And last, we're going out. Well, one of our mantras here is, if it works on paper, it works on fabric. If it works on fabric, it works on paper. And to try and to test and to play with it, take the materials that which a lot of times for many years were fine art materials, and that is all a fiber artist could get their hands on. So we did a lot of experimentation, and we just continue to encourage you to do that. And let us know what happens. Send us a picture, post it in the Creative Minds. Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds is a community Facebook page that, we want to know some of these things. It's really awesome.
In this kind of community also, don't just post the work that works.
Yes.
Also post the work that doesn't, because that's really an education for everybody.
It is.
For everybody to know that you tried this and unfortunately it didn't go the way you wanted because of this property. That's valuable information.
It is. Absolutely.
Really is.
Absolutely. All the time we think we should need to do our successes when in fact I'm up on stage. I'm like, go off stage, and I'm like, this didn't work, but we'll try it this way. So yeah, I think that is a very valuable
real.
lesson.
That's just what we all do. Creatives do. They try, they experiment, they play.
Yep.
It's the joy in it. And, the failure is just one little step along the way in the process.
Right.
And usually a learning
experience. Absolutely learning.
It doesn't feel always good, but it's a learning experience.
Well, we can always cut it up and try to morph it into something else. Samples. Okay. So what we want to tell you, we were lucky. We did get some samples, some fabric. So hopefully that means we're permanently on the FreeSpirit Seth fabric sample place. And I'm putting a hint. Is Liz listening? I don't know. Maybe we need to send an invite to her. And we kitted with Seth's new line, this quilt here. So this is called Cool Water by Villa Rosa. And we've given you everything for this size, plus some extra fabric so you can make your own choices, and then the border and the binding. So that is here. It is online. You can buy it today. And I would tell you, Seth's Fabric is flying out the door, quite literally. So if you're interested in it, I would not wait. We do have a quilt that is from last year's collection, the first collection. And we made a different quilt with this. We made Emma. So we still have pieces of Seth's first fabric line here, and this is the only quilt kit that we have with this fabric line.
And that fabric it's a Tim and Seth collaboration.
Nope, not that one.
Oh, that one doesn't have Tim's in it?
No, no Tim's. We
Okay.
done. This one does have Tim's?
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's Tim's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seth and Tim version. Yeah, there we go. But I thought I was talking about the Spark one. Okay, but I don't have that.
Spark has both too.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Some things, when they're done, I'm on to the next 10 things, so I forget. All right.
We get it.
Remember.
You get it. That's why I have a team who helps me do it. It takes a village. All right, so then this is another sample Chris made, and she used the Acrobat pattern by Villarosa, and we have, again, extra fabrics in there. So Chris made this wall hanging. Keisha made the Brave, but Chris made the quilt, and she also had enough blocks to make a table runner, a bag, and some extra accessories. So there's a really great amount of fabric that are in these quilt kits. So we hope that'll good. And now we have
more.
Yes, we have more. This is called Spark, and it is Seth and Tim Holtz fabric as well. And there's a free pattern that goes with this collection. Yep. So those are the kits that are available to purchase. We also have pre-cuts in fat quarters, half yards, and 1 yards. Again, if you want this collection, please do not hesitate, because we are gonna, it's selling fast, very quickly.
The collections that I release with FreeSpirit are one and done.
The one and done.
So that once they're ordered through, there won't be repeated. So,
right.
You know, we need to get them in your hands.
now.
Yeah.
Why are you shaking your head, Kyle?
Because your first one was so popular. I should have known better.
So, all right. So I showed you Keisha's Brave, but this is also Keisha, who will be teaching at the Creative Summit. We're really excited to have her. She does great stuffed figures. So definitely save the date. I know the face, and the face is, you know, it's just three-dimensional a lot. She's very, very three-dimensional.
Lots of detail in here. There's a lot of stitching as well.
She did a new website. Her website is fantastic.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
She's killing it this year.
I know.
And then a piece of art on board, very mixed media, with some extra special little details. That's magnetized. And this is all about living out loud. She chose some very specific words: live out loud and brave.
Yep.
So thank you, Keisha. You always do me well.
Yeah, she does. She does a great job. Absolutely. All right. So we are close to needing to end this and get ready for class.
Class today.
And the store is open. So all this product is here. Were there any other questions, Kyle?
No, just lots of love.
Yeah, lots of love. That
Thank
sounds
you guys
good.
so much.
For the stuffed animal.
No, she does not do patterns. Check her website out. It's new. It's wonderful. She does have a couple of classes, but online.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. So, as do you, don't you?
This is true. I do.
Yeah.
I do. You can always visit SethApter.com and learn more about me, and you can see where I'm at in person, and then you can also see on my page there where I teach online.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for a great day. We hope that if you can't join us, you're having a creative day on your own, And we look forward to meeting you sometime. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, and thank you.
Thanks.